The High Note, written by Flora Greason and directed by Nisha Ganatra, follows the story of Maggie Sherwood, played by Dakota Johnson, an assistant to music superstar, Grace Davis, played by Tracee Ellis Ross. Maggie, whose whole life has been centered around music, and her boss dreams of becoming a producer and tries to finally make that dream become a reality, possibly by saving the career of her idol. Now, that's probably what you didn't get from the original trailers, if you saw them, and neither did I. Due to the High Note's predictable writing, its length, and the issues that it claims to address, the High Note doesn't quite hit the notes it intends to. The performances in The High Note are fine enough, but are lacking a little as the writing felt very one-dimensional. Grace is your typical guarded celebrity that is out of touch with the rest of the world and focuses on herself and what she wants to do. You have the roommate that pushes Maggie to get out of her comfort zone, played by Zoe Chow, who keeps getting a lot of these roles recently, falling into the same dramedy tropes that we constantly see over and over again. Aspiring young people and the obstacles they are facing. Even though Maggie really doesn't have that many in the film, which leads me to the major issues of the film. The writing as a whole and the themes and issues it pretends to champion. The performances in The High Note are fine enough, but are lacking a little as the writing felt very one-dimensional. Grace is your typical guarded celebrity that is out of touch with the rest of the world and focuses only on herself and what she wants to do. You have the roommate that pushes Maggie to get her out of her comfort zone, played by Zoe Chow, falling into the same dramedy tropes that we constantly see over and over again. Aspiring young people and the obstacles they're facing. Even though Maggie really doesn't have that many in the film to begin with, which leads me to my major issues of the film. The writing as a whole and the themes and issues it pretends to champion. The High Note's tone and length are all disorganized and overlong. It's almost as if they wanted to go in one direction and ended up in the complete opposite direction of the film halfway through shooting. Characters are very unlikable and unrelatable, as they have a penchant for making Los Angeles references or music industry inside jokes only people that live within that bubble, or those that know of that bubble, would understand. What the filmmakers are trying to say is unclear and far away from what they think The High Note is saying about the music industry and about society as a whole. When you watch the trailer, you're introduced to the music legend that is Grace Davis, who is struggling to have herself heard in a world where women singers over 40, and especially those that are black, don't have much of a chance to hit number one on the music charts.
League out there for middle-aged singers.
In the history of music, only 5 women over 40 have ever had a number 1 hit, and only one of them was black.
When we see that struggle in the trailer, it seems as if the audience is going to see the journey of how Grace and Maggie get Grace to number 1. This is not so. Instead, the film is pretty much how Maggie becomes a music producer after working on one song without the express permission of the singer-songwriter. Her finding love and discovering a secret, even though it's not that hard to figure out when you're introduced to a certain character. If the filmmakers wanted to make a story about how Grace, although she was successful in the past due to racism, sexism, and ageism, she can't create like she used to, make that statement by focusing on Grace's journey, the adversity she's dealt with, what she's still dealing with, as well as how she got to the top despite that adversity. Have Grace recognize Maggie's potential and bring her up alongside Grace, like those who did the same thing for her in the past. Through the new collaboration and combination of Maggie's ideas and fresh vision, it would bring a new vigor to Grace's approach that would get her to number 1 again. Instead, they decided to focus on Maggie's journey and at times almost make Grace and her manager, played by Ice Cube, seem like the villains in the story when they are the ones that were supposed to be celebrated. Overall, with its confused tone, length, and misleading the audience, The High Note doesn't quite hit the pitch it thinks it does. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to subscribe and check out some more videos about film reviews and analysis. Thank you.